What's up, everybody? Big Loot Gaming. We're back with another video. Foghorn Leghorn, dead to me. I mean, I can't say he's dead to me. I did what I felt I needed to do, and I spun some golden tickets. I was very, very lucky, but honestly, this event has been boring to me since then. I haven't been able to get past the very first battle, even though we're probably pretty evenly matched. This is a team that I would use, and I've gotten close a few times. But it's almost impossible for me. I just can't do it. I've tried it with Kitty Ketty. Oh, I keep messing up. I've tried it with Kitty Ketty. I tried with 2 healers. I've tried everything. I've spent like 200 gems on refreshes, and I can't beat it, guys. So that's where I stand on that. I did mess up. I should have been doing the 10 times exchange. I would have probably had Speedy at 6 stars by now. I'm like 4 pieces away. So I'm sure I'll get him to 6 star just by doing tasking, and that was my biggest goal again. So I'm not too mad about it. But I haven't gotten a single egg, and just honestly, like yeah, I've been getting a lot of fog leg pieces on the wheel. But this event's dead to me. I can't keep it going with this. I should have just done the 10 times exchange. I messed up. I completely forgot about it, even though I mentioned it in the beginning of my video. But as you guys can see, y'all know we're about to kick it off with a Defenders tier list, all right? So, I've been getting a lot of actual good constructive feedback, right? Constructive criticism. I am a huge advocate for constructive criticism. I even saw someone post about it on Reddit recently, and I was going to jump in on it, but you know what? No, like, Reddit, I'm sorry, I kind of give up on you. It's a toxic environment. But Discord, that's a completely different story. Discord, you can actually, like, people actually help you out a little more. And again, like, I want to thank my subscribers, my viewers, my followers, people that communicate with me consistently. Thanks to you, I've communicated with Haruki first, and now Rev. So I'm excited to improve my content. And with that, I'm going to talk about a few changes that I'm going to have to make. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on the time of the videos a little more. I'm going to try to keep them to 15 minutes or under. I know it's hard, and I think the route I'm going to take from now on is, yes, I'm going to keep trying to provide as much advice as I can as I'm going through my videos, but I'm going to skip acts 1 and 2 whenever you can use whatever tunes you want, and then I'm going to start focusing on like the harder battles to kind of get you guys there, and then top it off with some good old spins, some good exchanges, and maybe some golden ticket spins too, okay? So shorter videos. If you guys appreciate the longer videos, I'm all for it, but I think it's just better for me to condense those videos for a viewing pleasure, okay? So I'm doing it for you guys. So let's get right into it, okay? Again, this tier list is purely my opinion, how I use them. I'm not gonna get focused on any tune too much unless I really, really like them and I feel like I gotta say a few things. The same thing applies. Legendaries, I'm not gonna rank them. I'm just gonna keep them off the tier list in general this time, okay? Why? I don't have enough experience with them. I don't have them, and they're very, very hard to attain, and not only attain, but to level up, okay? Well, I don't mean like level, I mean like they're stars. It's hard to rank up. So let's kick things off with Astronaut Sylvester. Really good tune. If you're a beginner, invest some time into Astronaut Sylvester. His best ability, well, he actually has 2 very good abilities. I wish his stats matched it, but he can steal 2 buffs or 2 positive effects from each enemy tune. And every time he gets hit, he then gains sure dodge. So whenever he gains sure dodge, it's like every other hit he takes is a sure dodge. So he's a very good stalling defender kind of, especially if you're a beginner. So farm him. He can definitely be a main tank. He's definitely good against the OG grannies and anyone that really focuses on buffs. Bellboy Gossamer. I wasn't going to really rank him because he's a Tasmanian tune. He's very hard to obtain. But I think some people, they're getting more attainable, you know? So Bellboy Goss works very, very, very well with a very fast attacker. The more attacks an attacker gets off, the more he can assist with his ability that he attacks for like 55% of his attack every time an attacker attacks. So you pair him up with Bellboy Daffy too, who attacks when a defender attacks. That's just mayhem right there, right? So he's an A tier in my opinion. I'm gonna leave Legendaries out of the way. I'm just gonna put him to the back. Contender Sylvester, he's a B tier tune. The argument can be made for A tier. If you have him and you have no other good defenders, he's a very good defender, right? But not a primary defender. He serves his purpose for 2 turns, and then after that, he's very hard to use because he can't taunt again. He's just pure damage. And then his first ability only gives him attack up for like 1 turn, so it's not very, very good to focus him as your primary defender. But he's definitely a B tier tune that can definitely make a huge change and a huge impact depending on your comp. Desperado Dog, without an argument, A tier. He provides your whole team hidden. Whenever he gives him hidden, he gets like 15 to 20% defense up for each tune that's hidden. He is just fantastic. He can definitely be part of a very amazing team comp if you pair him up with the right tunes, right? Think Sylvester Jr., OG Granny, anyone that just thrives while hidden, like Scarlet Pumpernickel, OG Sylvester. So he's just an overall all-around tune. He can kind of sort of heal himself, provide stun. It's a fantastic tune. Devil Dog. You know, the argument can be made, in my opinion, Devil Dog is definitely S tier. Why? Because even if his defense and his attack aren't the highest, he decreases defense and attack for the opposing team whenever he taunts. So that attack that he's missing, he's applying 20 to 40% defense down whenever he taunts on the enemy team, right? So whenever if his defense is not the highest, he applies 2 to 4 attack down on the enemy team, so 20 to 40% attack down, right? So it evens out. So I think he has epic level. He's a rare tune. I think he has epic level tune stats. Sorry, my mind just scattered a bit, but he has epic tune stats, and I think he should really be commended for that. And he is the main reason OG Granny is no longer S tier at all. It'll be almost impossible to wipe him out in a few hits immediately, unless you have like 7.7 star tunes and nuke him with like a Sylvester Slaslow or something like that. But there's no way. Like once he taunts, the stall begins. If you have a good healer, the stall begins. Like it all just starts winding down. I would say, in my personal opinion, he's an S tier, but if not, like a very strong A tier. Elmer Fudd, he did get a bit of a buff recently, but I would say he's C tier. He still doesn't bring much to the team. He can self-heal with birds, kind of like Wally Coyote does, but I feel like he just doesn't bring a lot to the team. You have to have a very specific hunter team, and it's a team that's focused on synergy, not so much abilities, if that makes sense. Farmer Hector, he's C tier. I'm not gonna talk too much about him. I have him at like 6 point something stars, but you know he just could be better. Fog Legs, definitely A tier. I would say he's like mid A tier or low A tier now, because yeah, like he does taunt right away, and then he can provide 2 extra turns of taunt, but I don't think he deals a lot of damage for me. He's very slow, and now there's tunes that can just flip any debuff or buff, like Egghead Jr., or just straight up remove taunts. So he only gets 2 defense up whenever he taunts. So an OG Granny can completely take that out of the way. So he needs to be paired up with another decent defender, one very strong attacker, and a strong healer. A comp that I like to use lately is, and I'll see if I can kind of showcase it a little bit. I'll put it on auto, but you guys can kind of watch. Something that I like to do is I like to bring in OG Fog, Pepe LaBard, King Bugs, and then another strong attacker, because he gives the opportunity for King Bugs to apply taunt, and once he taunts, your whole team does extra damage. I'm gonna put it on auto. I should be able to win this. And then your whole team just does a lot of extra damage, so it all just works out pretty well. Okay, Friar Porky, definitely A tier. The only problem that I have with him is he only taunts for 1 turn. If he taunted for 2 turns, amazing. The case will be made for S tier. He has resistance against almost every negative status effect, with the exception of like speed down, defense down, and I forget what else. But hopefully you guys pay attention to that showcase. I didn't want to keep it for too long. OG Gauze. OG Gauze is one of my favorite tunes, especially now when the meta is heavily involved or revolving around buffs and debuffs. So I think he's high B tier. Personally, for me, he's A to S tier, for real. Anytime your team gets a debuff, he gets 2 attack up, 2 crit chance up. His next attack is almost guaranteed to be a crit if your team is getting consistent debuffs. And every time he gets a buff, he heals, right? So if he's your strongest attacker and you have a Porky Pig, for example, Porky Pig gives speed up or defense up to your strongest attacker. And if he's your strongest attacker, he's always going to be healing. That's just a great comp right there. Because he's definitely an offensive tank. Great Iron Goss, I would say he's also B tier. He really starts off the whole battle by being able to provide your whole team defense up. But other than that, I feel like he's just very, very tanky, right? But doesn't bring much else to the team. I would honestly prefer, you know what, I'm going to put OG Goss at A tier. And this is, again, strictly my preference. Because he removes more of a turn meter than Gridiron Goss does. Gridiron Goss might have better stats as an epic tune, but I think OG Goss wins that overall. Hector, very tanky as well. He's definitely a B tier, but doesn't bring much to the table, I think. He does get defense up for the rest of the battle every time he uses his primary ability, but I don't think he's a game changer. He's just does his job, his one role, which is to tank. He does it pretty okay. Winter Bugs. Yeah, I would put him B tier. Oh, excuse me. I don't think he brings much to the team. Like, the only way he heals himself is if he doesn't have any debuffs. If he has one debuff, he doesn't heal whenever he taunts. He does stun, and his primary ability is just pretty whack. So I don't think he brings much to the table. I would put him like in the same vicinity as Hector, except he can stun, whereas Hector can remove turn meter. Kachucha Sam, B. The best thing about him is he can heal himself whenever he taunts. However, like, I just don't think he brings much else to the team. He does have very high attack, but I don't know. It just doesn't bring much else to the team. Leopold is a B tier tank. The best thing about him, and if you're a beginner, focus on Leopold. He can steal all stats up and all the buffs whenever he taunts. So if you're going up against Grannies, for example, whenever I was first starting, he was my main counter to Granny. I would wait for Granny to use her healing over times, and then I'll taunt with him. Steal three healings over time and taunt. Stall one more turn with another defender. His turn to taunt again. Steal 3 more healing over times. And then he was like unstoppable. He wouldn't be able to get killed. Even if I one-starred the battle, he wouldn't get killed. Matador Bugs. I would say he's A tier. I wish I had him a little stronger. Right now, there's a lot of tunes that are really focusing on silencing. Once he's like you silence 1 or 2 tunes, he's one of like the best defenders. Why? Because he gains like 5 dodge chance up, which is basically 100% chance to dodge. Monster Fog, he's a B tier tune. Best thing about him is he protects some of your squishies whenever their defense gets a little too low. Monster Tweety, not gonna rank him. He's legendary. Mountie Elmer, I've seen people placing him in A tier lately, and they really give him a lot of props. I think he is ridiculously tanky, very tanky. I've used him on the Hugo event. He does his job pretty well. I need to get him to level 59 and tune him up a little more. He does apply some chili, but I don't think he's A tier quite yet. He does heal himself. I wish he would heal himself. Oh, excuse me. I just ate like 4 tacos, guys, and okay. I just ate like some 4 tacos and they were bomb. But I wish his healing would also happen when he taunts, but they're 2 separate abilities. So if those were one and he had another ability as opposed to healing on its own, I think he'd be an A tier tune as a rare tune. Mr. Bugs. He is like a weaker version of Santa Bugs, right? Or Winter Bug, whatever you want to call him. This tune right here. Because they both stun, they both have damage that is very minimal, they have high defense, but that's it. They don't bring much else to the table, so I don't think much of him. Mr. Sam, almost like Mountie Elmer, but not really. He can heal himself, it's separate from his taunt. I don't like that. Penelope Couture, definitely an A tier tune now. When the dodge meta is increasing, this may change later on, but I do think that paired with Flamenco, Jester, and Labard is an amazing team. Officer Hector, C tier. Best thing about him, he has resistance to damage over time. So if you're a beginner, he might be someone that you want to bring into that next magic event if you're able to. Because the magic event, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of damage over time, okay? Prizefighter, I would say he's a top B tier tune. The only bad thing about him is he only taunts when an enemy taunts. Sometimes you just need a taunter that can taunt. He's a very good offensive tank, but not your primary tank, right? So if your role or if your team comp is composed strictly out of him being a secondary tank, excuse me, then fantastic. He's an A tier tune. But if you're trying to use him as your primary defender, done. Like, he's a B tier tune. He does cause a lot of damage. His first ability is fantastic, where he gains 2 defense up every time he uses it, and he can stun. But other than that, I don't think that nothing much else comes to him. Sam Sheepdog, he's definitely A tier to me. One of the highest attacks and defenses. Every time your tunes get hit, like his allies get hit, he gains turn meter, so he gets to put out damage even quicker, which kind of makes up for his lack of speed. And now they buffed him so that his last ability can actually is a 100% guaranteed stun. Okay, he's legendary. I'm gonna put him to the end. I'm not gonna worry about him. Scout Foghorn, B tier. I don't think I need to talk about him much. Elmer, Siegfried Elmer, definitely A tier. His damage is just crazy. Second ability, AoE, and he stuns. His taunt, he immediately gains 3 healing over time, which I wish he would just naturally heal without healing over time, but you know, it's pros and cons. Then he can heal himself for 2 turns. Whereas if it's only healing himself when he taunts, he only heals 1 turn. But the counter to that is someone can just remove those buffs or steal them. You know, think Speedy Gonzales, Daffy Hood, even Leopold. So he would taunt and heal for 1 turn, and then they'll steal those, and then it served no purpose, right? She-Devil, definitely an A tier tune. Again, these Tasmania tunes, I wish I could work on a little better. But the best thing about her is, as the lower her health, the higher her defense. And whenever she taunts, if you hit her, she attacks back. So she counters. Now imagine her with like Outback Dog, and then she taunts. Every time she counters, attack up, attack up, attack up. So every time she counters after that, like, 'cause she's slow, right? So every time she counters after that, it'll be more and more and more damage. So just keep that in mind whenever you guys are going up against her. Witch Doctor, definitely A tier. She can silence your whole team. So imagine pairing that up with Matador Bugs. Insane. And then as she's taunting, every time she's taunting, she puts damage over time for every turn. So if your team is very fast and she's very slow, and this happened to me just actually, was that in that last battle? Yeah. So I mean, I'll try to showcase it again. I have enough energy, but that's what happens to me. My team is too fast, and then they get just hit with all these damages over time, which just really sucks. And then finally, Yeti. I don't find much use to him. His chili is awesome, but he also applies chili to your team, which is like, he is only good with a pure summit team where they can all cause chili. But other than that, he's a B tier too, and he has very strong stats. But his attack, I don't think his damage output is very strong. Okay, so let me just try to finish this battle real quick. My strategy has been kind of all over the place, and it's basically just all RNG. Once Witch Doctor Hazel taunts, it's kind of over for me. But I want to go after that reindeer because he's the only one that can heal them. And I know you guys can't see the 4th tune, but it's a Speedy Gonzales. Well, you guys just saw him attack my team. Yep, she taunted. Yep, and that's where I say, like, it's basically over there. Lola does so much damage, and she steals all the defense ups from your team whenever she taunts. So if you have OG Fog at the very beginning, who gives your whole team 2 defense up each, then all those are stolen. So I think, like, my best chance here is for Speedy to dodge as much as possible, and he just doesn't. I feel like my Speedy does not dodge very well. But I really need to go after that reindeer, and I can't, because that Witch Doctor is so slow that he's just protected the whole time. So this is going to be just a very slow and painful death, I think. Hopefully you guys approve of my tier list. Again, guys, please just share my my YouTube to your alliances. Look at that. I already have 3 damage over time on almost every tune. Let me see. Can I make this bigger for you guys? Yeah, let me see if I can bring this to the front just so y'all can see a little better. But it's just, man. Move up 1. Oh. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to make this a little bit better for you guys. so you guys can see. But I wanted to show you guys that essentially this witch doctor is annoying to deal with. See, she only taunted for 2 turns and my whole team's already dying. There's no way. Yep, there goes my Speedy. I mean, I can taunt here. There goes my monster fog. And now I just don't have the speed to make much of anything happen. That Speedy is just too fast. That Ranger's too fast. That witch doctor's too slow. And I just can't beat this fight. But alright guys, I try to keep it at 15 minutes. It's at 20 minutes now. I apologize. I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone that's been supporting me. B Philly, Looney Gaming, check him out on his YouTube. He posts some pretty good videos. Managar Gaming, he's also someone that I watched at first. And again, just more shout out to Haruki and Rep. I hope that I can progress and make this a little better, and with y'all support, we can make things happen. I think I'm like 6 subscribers away or 7 from 200 subscribers. At 200 subscribers is my next giveaway, guys. Philly and Mike, I know you guys haven't claimed y'all's awards yet. I wouldn't use them for this event. I think the next big event that we can spend money on is going to be the Magic event, which Rev is working on. So I'm actually pretty hyped and excited for that. But alright guys, thanks for watching. Sorry for this failure of fight. Hopefully you guys are okay with my tier list. Big Lou Gaming, out.